Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Zoo, and in particular, welcome back to Edinburgh Zoo. So this is actually really exciting for me because not only are we covering the new DLC, which is the Wetlands Animal Pack, we're also back in Edinburgh Zoo, which has been something that I honestly don't think I would have imagined we would ever come back to, if I'm being completely honest. There's reasons behind that, and I'm more than happy to share that with you guys, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But right now, I thought I'd just give like a little introduction to what we're building right here today. So this is covering the new crayons, the animals, which is one of the new animals in the animal pack, and I love them. As soon as I looked at the roster of animals, I instantly thought, OMG, we have these magnificent birds in Edinburgh Zoo, and I just thought it's just such a glorious opportunity to hop back into Edinburgh Zoo. A little bit of nostalgia for those who have followed me from the very beginning. I could name a few names, but I'm not going to embarrass anyone. But yeah, honestly, I was just so thrilled when I saw that we were getting actually two animals that are in Edinburgh Zoo. Now, you might be thinking this is the wrong species of crane, which you would be completely correct. So this is actually for the East African crowned crane, which is in the habitat, which is actually located very quite close to the start of the zoo, between the red pandas and the Chinese goral, in a little old space which is called the African Aviary, obviously because these particular ones in Edinburgh Zoo are from East Africa. But we don't have that in Planet Zoo. We have got the red crowned crane. So I could talk a little bit about both of these animals while I do the speed build, just to give you a little bit of insight if that is of interest to you. If not, then I'll put a link in the description below if you just want to go straight to the tour part of it, which is totally fine. Let's get into it. So because we are building the Edinburgh Zoo, I think it's only right if we start off with the one which is currently in this habitat, and then we'll move on to the other one. So standing over 1 meter tall, the large, elegant East African crown crane can be seen in many wetland areas. So a lot similar to the Wetland Pack and what we expect here in Planet Zoo. It's got large grey plumage contrast with sharply black and white wings, a crest of golden feathers sitting on top of its head, and a bright red pouch that hangs from its throat. Males tend to be slightly larger than females, but otherwise you can't really tell the difference. Their diet consists of plants, seeds, grasses, grains, insects, frogs, worms, snakes. Probably a snake, but hey ho, they are in Africa. Small fish, eggs, and water animals. They like to stamp as they walk, so insects are flushed out and waiting for the crane to eat them. Crown cranes nest in pairs, but also flock together and like to cozy up at night time, sometimes building flocks of over 100. During the nesting season, the female lays between 2 to 3 eggs, which both parents incubate for about 4 weeks. Both parents feed the young one until they leave the nest. The main threat to the crane population is due to the threat to their wetland habitat. Okay, so now moving on to the ones that we have in game, which is the red crowned crane. The crane gets its name from the disc of bare red skin on top of its head. Aside from their red crowns, these cranes are often snow white with black secondary feathers. Their young are also white, mixed with a little shade of brown or grey. The red crowned crane are one of the largest cranes, and fully grown adults stand at 5 feet with a wingspan that grows to 8 feet. Males are slightly larger than the females. 5 feet? Well, I'm 5'4". That's pretty impressive. They're practically the same size as me. So a lot like the other crane, that they are semi-aquatic, can be often found in wetlands between Asia and Russia, and they like to stick to regions with milder climates. These birds are also known as monogamists. They'll often find one partner to mate for life, which is maybe why they symbolise loyalty in Asian cultures. When a couple's together, they use their long windpipes to vocalise with a unison call, which strengthens their bond. They also mate by dancing gracefully, leaping into the air. They also call to dance to warm each other to stay away. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities between both of these species. A crane's a crane. Every time I say crane, I want to say crayon, as in what you would draw. I would like to draw a picture of a crayon. 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 Oh, Scottish. Brilliant. Anyway guys, back to the speed build. We established exactly what kind of habitat they live in. I've also been using reference pictures of Edinburgh Zoo. I will tell you straight off the bat that the habitat that I've built for is very much inspired by the look and feel of what is in Edinburgh Zoo. For every recreation that I do, I try to stick to as close to the source as possible. So I do have reference images of Edinburgh Zoo. I always use Google Maps, which you guys will know from previous episodes that Google is completely out of date. Also, it's very hard to keep up with the zoo because it's forever changing. Every time I go down to the zoo, there is something different, something that's been moved, something that's been added. It's constantly evolving, which is absolutely fantastic, and it is such a great zoo. So if anyone is in Scotland, anyone coming up to Scotland for a visit, I would highly recommend that you guys check out the zoo. The conservation efforts that they put into it is amazing. They also keep up to date with their Twitter page as well. So every time that there's a new animal which is getting introduced at Edinburgh Zoo, recently we've had giraffes which are new to Edinburgh Zoo, and also sloth, which I am super happy to go down and visit. Also, they've got exhibitions that happen. So currently right now there's dinosaurs in Edinburgh Zoo, which is just blows my mind. So not only do you have this zoo, which I absolutely adore, and I'm so happy to build for it, they also have a section for dinosaurs, and it's just taking Planet Zoo and essentially prehistoric kingdom and just making a baby and putting it on display in a place that I can go and just absolutely have a cracking day out. However, what I will say is when I go down there, I bet you everything that I've built is slightly changed, which again, I said it before, the zoo is constantly evolving. Will this spark my love to get back into Edinburgh Zoo and start building more habitat? I want to say yes, I honestly do. I have had so many requests as well in the comment section from people saying, hey, are you going to come back to Edinburgh Zoo? I'd really love to see you build more in this project. And I have always been very transparent with how I feel, which is I want to make the zoo and give it the love that it deserves and try to make it as true to the actual zoo as possible, which is very difficult to do when, like I say, it's always evolving, and also that the reference images that I have are out of date. Now, I could go down to Edinburgh Zoo with a GoPro. If anyone wants to give me a GoPro, then that would be fantastic. And I could take loads of images, but when I get back to my computer, it's very hard to understand how those images all clip together, especially because the zoo is absolutely massive. So basically, all I can do is have the reference images that I have and build off of memory or build off of what I think will look good. So this habitat itself is not necessarily exactly the same as what you would expect in the African aviary of Edinburgh Zoo, and I just wanted to make that really transparent that I have taken this area and tried to make it similar to it. However, it is not necessarily, I would say, a carbon copy. There's parts of it which I just thought, you know what, it'd be so much cooler if we just expanded this little bit here, you know, put in this water pipe here and then just make it like a little river kind of thing going on, taking more of a creative step. But for this habitat, I just thought we could maybe slightly manipulate it to make it look a little bit more interesting for our guests and for you guys to watch as well. There's something that I've always been aware of when building the Edinburgh Zoo, because it is a real life zoo, and I've always said this, that real life zoos are literally just paddocks which will have natural foliage in it. If the animal requires different plants and different structures to be built, then they will do that. But literally, it tends to be this just patch of grass, this paddock of grass, and they'll have a hard shelter for it. They'll have natural, you know, resources of water, which is fresh for them to enjoy. But the rest of it can be, dare I say, boring. When we look at Planet Zoo and being creative in Planet Zoo, there are so many people that I've seen who absolutely knock out the most incredible looking habitats. And yes, they look amazing, but also realistically in zoos, they tend to be extremely boring, dare I say it. But I'm just being completely honest. There's sometimes when you go to zoos and you think, oh man, this looks pretty boring. Do you really care if it's got like nice things that you can do parkour over? Probably not. You just want a nice like area that you can munch on some grass. There's some fresh water. There's somewhere that you can go lay down. Yeah, I think I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. Apologies to your ears for my rant. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, I think that's enough chatting. We're going to hop into the real-time tour part and we'll go through everything in a little bit more detail. So, let's go. Okay, welcome to the real-time tour part, and if you've jumped here from the link in the bottom of the screen, welcome on in. If you've managed to make it past my TED Talk, then hello. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you guys our awesome new Explore mode, which we'll just pop ourselves into a little Tedgy cam. It's not Tedgy cam, Explore mode. I won't get used to it. I'll still think it's Tedgy cam. Let's do it. Okay, so we're going in. So first of all, we've got a little display board for education purposes. We're just going to hop over here. So we've got our little area that the cranes can have a little wee swim. According to the game, this is not deep enough. Well, it's not necessarily deep enough. It's just not enough water for them all. And I say tough to that, to be honest. So we're going to have a tour around this side. So we've got like this netting on the top, which is taken from our flamingo habitat, which is over that way. So guests can see on this side, so you've got the glass barrier here, and then there's the mesh barrier. Then we actually do have a mesh barrier at the back here as well. So yeah, loads of foliage in this one, lots of rocks, lots of logs and stuff that they can jump up on. This stream bit is very, very shallow in the sense of they literally just walk along this part until they get to here, which is a lot deeper. This is quite nice. I feel like I'm a crane. I really do. So yeah, we'll just go back upstream. So we have got this little implied little pump system that's going to have the fresh water come into the habitat there. And then over onto this section, you would have seen that I stole this from one of our other habitats, which is the parrots at the back of Edinburgh Zoo. And then our beautiful cranes, which are enjoying life. Yeah, I don't know if they two were about to mate or... God, I love the sounds that they make. Talk to me, buddy. Talk to me. Yeah, loads of rocks, all that goodness. And then up here we do have some babies, so we've got a little baby sleeping there. And then over here is where this is like a greenhouse. It looks absolutely horrendous, let's just all admit to it. I did kind of want to change it out, but literally this is what it looks like in Edinburgh Zoo. The only thing is it is absolutely filthy. It needs a really good clean. But yeah, I don't know at the back of it if it does have like a... Oh God, the echo in here. Yeah, I don't know if it's got a complete greenhouse in it, because, you know, there would be no lighting in here. So I'm a little bit questionable, but also I think this is what it looks like. If anyone does work in Edinburgh Zoo and would like to send me some reference images, please let me know in the comments below. I will happily give you my email address and I will go away and change this. But from what I can tell, that's all I got, really. So yeah, a couple of enrichment items. So we've got this shiny thing that they never seem to play with. Again, if anyone sees them playing, let me know. And that's like literally it for this habitat, to be fair. I think they're relatively happy, although they would maybe disagree with the water situation. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, let me know. If you are interested in me doing more of Edinburgh Zoo, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to check out some previous builds, then I'd highly recommend this video here where I built a sun bear habitat. So until next time guys, have a wonderful day and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.